This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
All right, welcome into a special edition of the JP Peterson Show as we're coming to you live from our studio. We'd planned to be at Riveters, but we had a little double booking going on there. So here we are, and intern Danny is joining me to talk a little bit of. We got the right. There we go. There we got the two shot. We got Danny on here. We got everything going on. We're supposed to be live at Riveters, but unbeknownst to the folks over there, they had a Rays watch party pop up. So yeah, the Rays watch with. There's so much going on over at Riveters, you just never know. So we were going to be live there tonight, but the Rays game went long. So then they were like, okay, why don't you just go back to the studio and we could do the promotional show from there. And so you don't have to wait to set up here. So anyway, so Danny's going to make his debut and talk some UFC because I did not know this, but intern Danny is a UFC expert or not. But we're going to talk a little baseball as well. So welcome. Say hello to the folks.
Good to see y'all.
There you go. There you go. All right. So we got lots to, first of all, I want to tell you guys, first and foremost, Riveters is where it's happening. I was just over there. We're getting ready to do the show. It explained everything that happened. It's popping off. And here's the good news. If you want to see both fights tonight, the Jake Paul, Cesar Chavez Jr. fight, which they've just added to the card at Riveters at much expense, I might add. So they paid for the fight. So you guys can go watch it for free at Riveters. So you can watch the Jake Paul, Cesar Chavez Jr. fight there. We'll preview that as well. And you can watch UFC 317 with Topuria and Oliveira going in the main card there. So they'll have both fights on, audio in one room, audio in the other room. So whichever fight you want to watch, they'll have it going on. And, of course, you can enjoy all the great food at Riveters. I was just over there, and the wings are amazing. Again, in case you didn't know. And saw a bunch of the folks over at JP Peterson Show fans were there. We gave out a bunch of T-shirts, these lovely T-shirts here. So I think we're going to go and do a little lunch show on Wednesday before the Rays game. So to make this one up, we'll be over there. And so come on out for lunch and then head on over to the Rays game on Wednesday. So I think that's what we're going to do. But we'll let you know on Monday for sure. We'll get everything worked out. But anyway, the main thing you need to know is that they are showing both fights over at Riveters tonight. So I believe the Jake Paul main event it's out in Anaheim. So that's probably going to pop off about 10 o'clock. And then the main event for UFC, the couple co-main events will start probably about 11. So it'll be a nice back-to-back. You can watch the Jake Paul fight against Cesar Chavez Jr. and then roll right into the two co-main events at UFC. And it's a great undercard for the UFC as well. So if you want to watch that, and we'll go through all the undercard stuff as well, you can do that. So lots to do tonight. So if you don't have any plans or don't know where you're watching all the fights, now you know. Head on over to Riveters and we'll have both fights on for you. And they pay for all this stuff. And it ain't cheap, by the way. To get the UFC up, there's a subscription for that. To get the Jake Paul fight, which they just decided tonight to put up because they have a huge crowd there already for the Rays watch party. And they'll just keep it going all through the night. So if you're looking for a place to watch the fights, that's the place to go. Riveters always the place to go. Great food, great drinks. You'll enjoy the great staff there. Everybody was there tonight. They're all hands on deck. So head on over there, get your table a little bit early before all the fighting starts, and you'll enjoy a wonderful experience. You know, they have the indoor-outdoor experience there at Riveters if you've never been there. I got the indoor part, very nicely air-conditioned if you want to be in there. And then there's the outdoor part, which I like that. Outdoor bar is super cool. And it's a very nice, cool, comfortable night out. And they got the fans going. So it's really nice. Won't be hot and humid. It's a beautiful night to kind of have the indoor-outdoor thing going there at Riveters. So head on over there and tell them JP sent you. It's going to be a great night for all the fights. All right, before we get to promo and a little bit of the fights, since I got intern Danny here, Mr. Baseball, Rays win today, 11-3, right? Mm-hmm. Give me some of the numbers from today. Aranda had a big day again, right?
Jonathan Aranda today, he had his 10th home run of the year. Already his career best. Obviously, he's just going nuts this year. His home run today, 467 feet. The third longest by a Ray since 2015.
That's the third longest, 467 feet.
467 feet.
Now, he was not supposed to be a huge power guy. Like typically he was been kind of a gap power, decent power, but not like 467 power.
No.
So he is like really grown into more of a power hitter than I thought he was going to be. You knew he was going to hit for average, but now 10 home runs basically at the break. So if this cat's going to be hitting 20 to 25 home runs with his contact rate hitting in the middle of the order and the on-base percentage of the guys in front of him now that is much better, and he's going to drive in over 100 runs.
Absolutely.
How many RBIs does he have at this point?
Let me check. Actually, I have it. So far, Aranda.
I know he's hitting 330.
This year, he's driven in 44 RBIs.
44 RBIs.
44 RBIs.
So, and this team, has been so much better offensively in the last 2 months. So, yeah, I think he's got a really good shot at having 100 RBIs in his first full season.
I think he absolutely could do that.
Wow. I mean, I always thought Aranda would be good, and then he came up and he just couldn't seem to catch up to the major league fastball. He just didn't seem comfortable. But this season, he's so balanced at the plate. He reminds me a lot of Tony Gwynn, the way he hits. He's just so balanced and always gets the barrel to the ball. Just a joy to watch. So that's 2 home runs in back-to-back games at Camden Yards. Blanked on that one. And the Rays scored 8 yesterday and got their ass kicked 22-8 after getting up 6-0. They had a 93% chance, 93% win rate going up 6-0 in that game, and they get blown out 22. And that's weird because I wonder sometimes when you get, because Pepios had like 0 run support most of the year.
Yeah.
And when you get that kind of run support early on, I wonder if he's just like, okay, I'm just going to challenge all the hitters, just not going to walk anybody. And then you start throwing the ball over the middle of the plate. And next thing you know, you're giving up runs.
I think players will change. I guess that mentality is like, oh, I don't have to be as precise. I don't have to paint the corners as hard as you would when you have 1 run or 2 run lead, because you're like, hey, I give up a run at this point. And I'm pretty sure the players are like, hey, maybe just give a home run. No big deal. It's still 6-1. I think at a certain point, I think they purely do change. It's like, hey, instead of pitching as finite that they get, they're like, they truly just becomes that they're like, hey,
throwing it over the middle of the plate, bad idea. But it's a Baltimore team that's starting to play a lot better than they did in the beginning of the season, but still inferior to the Rays. So Yankees lose today. Is that correct?
Yankees
so
lost.
where are we? Still a half game back now?
Half game back.
Half game back. And we got tomorrow's a day game with the Orioles.
Yes, 135.
And what were Littell's numbers today? He was fantastic. I think he only gave up 3 hits in 7 innings, right? 3 hits, 7 innings.
Zach Littell went 7 innings, 3 hits, 1 run, struck out 5, and walked 2.
Another efficient outing for Zach Littell. So, man, this Rays team is just they're playing such great baseball. Still, 11 games over 500 now?
I think that's
half game back. And Aranda should be. I think we'll find out this week that he'll be going to the All-Star game.
I think
Atlanta.
he will, but he should be starting it. I said this to you before the show. I truly think MLB has to get rid of
the fan vote.
It destroys small market teams' potential. I feel like both Brandon and Jonathan should be at least in consideration for starters.
Absolutely.
Brandon has got a little bit worse numbers than I think Gleyber Torres. I think people look at the WAR a lot, but Aranda there is no question it should be anyone's mind that Aranda should be the starter.
Over Goldschmidt
and Vlad.
Yeah. Yeah, the numbers are
Lau, you
ridiculous.
can make a case that he'd be secondary.
What's Goldschmidt's numbers? Give me Vlad's Goldschmidt. So Aranda's got 10 home runs, 44 RBIs, hitting 330, which I think was as 3rd in the league, if I'm not mistaken, or was.
I think for first baseman, I think he's the 1st. But
yeah,
I think
top for first baseman. Yeah,
I think in league he's probably like 3rd or something.
Yeah. 411 on base, 504 slugging, 915 OPS. Now, what's compared to Goldschmidt's numbers?
Paul Goldschmidt, as of today, on Baseball Reference page, he has a 1.5 WAR, has 8 home runs, 286 batting average, has 33 RBIs,
Jeez.
has a 3.346 on base percentage, a 426 slugging for 775 OPS, which is good, but it's
Not even close to
not
Aranda.
close to Aranda.
Yeah.
And Vlad, who you could probably make the case should be the backup, has 2.7 WAR, has 11 home runs, 284 batting average, 40 RBIs, 390 on base, 446 slugging, or an 840 OPS, which that's absolutely delivering some crazy
good.
numbers, but compared to Aranda is nothing.
Yeah. Well, hopefully Aranda will get he'll get named to the team. I think he will, and hopefully gets an at bat. That's the thing. You want to see him play. And you want to see get an at bat in an All-Star game. Because one of the things that this does for the Rays in the long term, young players like this, if they get a chance to go to the All-Star game, it just gives them a sense of confidence that just boosts everything. It really makes them feel like they are one of the elite players. And I think that's important, especially for young players, that they can get one. I know Matt Joyce used to, he was an All-Star, I think, in 2010 for the Rays. And he said, that was just being at that All-Star game and being part of that just totally elevated himself and his game just to another level. And I think it's important that he gets there, and I would love to see him get an at bat for the All-Star game. But Rays are playing some fantastic baseball. And while we got you here, if you're not a regular listener, watcher of the show, we've been following this Rays sale and been kind of leading the way on the information, what has come out. We broke the story in February that a group of Tampa Bay elite businessmen were in negotiations to buy the Rays. This group is kind of morphed into Patrick Zalewski, the Jacksonville home developer, Dreamfinders Home CEO, Bill Cosgrove, Union Mortgage, and a couple other guys from outside of Tampa, but a very Tampa Bay centric group. And they have, it was announced, a week and a half ago, that they have the letter of intent that Major League Baseball they are the favored group for Major League Baseball. This is my reporting going back to February. Then the names were put out this past week by Sportico. And so that process now very much ongoing. I met with two of the groups this week, and obviously they're, once they saw the letter of intent, they were kind of in panic mode to get back into the good graces of MLB. I should not good graces, but to get back in the game. They just felt like, they were in contention for it. And when they heard of this letter of intent, kind of took them by surprise. So they're doing everything they can to make sure Major League Baseball knows what they have, they're well capitalized. Certainly the Malloy group, very well capitalized. Let them know where their strategy is, that if something were to happen with this group, that they would be ready to go. So I think you've got three legitimate groups, the Carter McCain group, the Malloy group, and then this Zalewski group, now named, with the Zalewski group having the letter of intent. And I think, as Ken Hagan came on this show and said, he's very optimistic that this group can get a deal done for a stadium on the Tampa side. And so then other information that I've gotten this week is that this may happen sooner than later. And as I said yesterday, we stand by our reporting from February and everything we've reported since, that this is the group the Major League Baseball favors. They now have the letter of intent, non-binding, and I believe it runs for another 10 days. They can expand it if they have to, or they can, give Major League Baseball can give an opportunity for one of these other groups to come in. I don't think that's going to happen. I think this deal is going to go through. We don't know that with 100% certainty, but that's what it looks like to me in talking to all these different groups and where they are. So I think the good news is Stu Sternberg will not own this team in 6 months. And we'll be moving on with whatever group wins this bid. And I think it's this group that has it right now. They're going to build a stadium on the Tampa side, and it will probably, I would guess the timeline would be 2029. So, and there's been some talk of, would St. Pete sue this group because, they can't negotiate with them while they're, heading back to Tropicana Field. It's my understanding, and has been my understanding for a decade, and the reporting has been consistent with this, that if you're doing a deal with the Rays that starts when the lease ends, so the lease was till 27. So if you were talking about moving the Rays in 28, you could talk to the Rays. If you were talking about before then, you'd have to get permission. So I'm still, I'm certain that is how the lease is written. I haven't seen anything reported differently. So I do believe they can and are working on the stadium that would open in 29. So this would not violate the lease. So if the Rays go back to Tropicana Field, and that's what the commissioner wants, that's what's been reported. I haven't seen a lot going on at Tropicana Field, so I'll be once again, when the shovels go in the ground, when the roof panels start going on, then I'll go, okay, I guess we're moving back into the Trop. But I would definitely anticipate that the Rays will play at least April and May again in Steinbrenner, which would be nice. Isn't that when the weather's nice, and have the Trop ready for the summer? That sounds like a perfect idea to me. So if I had to make a choice, that's the way I'd like it. And I think that's what's going to happen. So we'll see how it all plays out. None of this is obviously 100%. This is what I know. This is what I've been told. This is what looks like it's going to happen. We stand by our reporting, and sooner than later. Let's just hope so. I know you, Danny, as a long-suffering fan, would like to see it in Tampa.
I've gone to plenty of games at Steinbrenner, or at both at Steinbrenner and at Tropicana. I've gone to plenty of games by myself where I've driven by myself over to Tropicana. It is painful how long and how awful it is getting there. I loved going there just because no matter where it was, I always wanted to go I was always going to be a Rays fan. Whether it was here, Orlando, St. Pete, it was always going to be a Rays fan.
When you had a nice crowd at the Trop, it was fun. Yeah. It had a nice vibe to it, but it just rarely had that. Weekend games were good. You get 15, 20,000 in there. It had a nice little vibe to it.
It felt good when there was people.
And the playoff games, I've been to most every playoff game, and those are just fantastic. The vibe, it's loud. It's really, really, it's cool, obviously. But I've also been to other real stadiums. And it's not Major League Baseball. Like that Tropicana Field is not a Major League Baseball. I mean, we talk about Steinbrenner not being a Major League Tropicana Field it isn't either. It's a freaking mausoleum. And I've been to other indoor stadiums, and they have better vibes than Tropicana Field, and don't have catwalks. So yeah, it's just, we deserve better. We deserve a better location. We deserve a better stadium. And I think at least, it's not next year. It's not the year. It's probably going to be 2029. Could have had it in Ybor City and done and built by 2022. Would have been nice. But Stu walked away from that deal, blamed everybody else. Did the two city thing with Montreal, which was never gonna happen. Wasted 3 years on that shenanigans, and then wasted another 2 years stringing St. Pete along. As I told him not to do it. I told you, Ken Welch, don't do it. They're going to leave you at the altar. And that's exactly what happened. So hopefully Stu Sternberg will not be the owner here in the next 6 months. I think it'll be much sooner than that, frankly. But with Stu, you never know. But I think Major League Baseball is driving this thing, and hopefully it'll get done in the weeks to come. And we'll have some certainty as to where we're playing. So anyway, that's a little Rays update here. This is our special promotion of UFC 317. And the Jake Paul fight, which will both be shown at Riveters tonight, the only place, I would imagine, the only venue in Tampa Bay that's showing both fights tonight. I don't know that for sure. I'm just guessing because it costs a lot of money to show both fights. So I know they're doing it over at Riveters. So, and the Jake Paul Cesar Chavez Jr. fight will start we're thinking around 10:30. It's in Anaheim. So that should,
2 hours behind.
Yeah, we think so. And then the main cards of the UFC 317 should be popping off about 11, 12. So you could watch them all kind of in succession. If they do overlap, you'll be in one place that's showing both. So there you go. The Riveters is the place to be. So head on over there, get your wings, get your prime rib. Oh, they got prime. On the weekends, they do the prime rib dinner, not just the prime rib sandwich and the prime rib tacos. You get the whole dinner. It's a great deal. They have 8 ounce and 12 ounce, and it's absolutely phenomenal. They slow roast it. Oh, it's phenomenal. So yeah, go over there, and very reasonable. You're not going to pay $75 for it's very reasonable food. Fantastic. The drinks, the staff, everything great at Riveters, and of course UFC 317 as well. So we'll take a little break. We're going to preview UFC 317. We kind of talked a little bit about the Jake Paul fight, but we'll do that again as well. We're brought to you by the great folks at Riveters and their great promotion tonight with both fights on. The Jake Paul Cesar Chavez Jr. fight will be on, and of course, UFC 317. So quick break. We will be back, and we'll tell you all about both fights. Stay with us. JP here for Riveters, the official sports bar and grill of the JP Peterson Show. We're located just south of Ray J and Steinbrenner Field, so it's a great pre- and post-game spot, and the happy hour is amazing. Monday through Friday, 3 to 7. Check out these specials. $3 Bud Light drafts, $4 domestic bottles, $5 wells, $6 premium wells, $6 cocktails like margaritas. That's unheard of. And the Riveters food is freshly made daily. No freezers. Happy hour food specials include $3.50 tacos and barbecue sliders. $6 you get edamame or chips with the beer cheese, which is amazing. $8 buffalo chicken dip, my favorite. The truffle fries, chili cheese fries, also $8 at happy hour. As well as other specials throughout the week, including Taco Tuesdays, you get $3 tacos, and Wing Wednesdays, 7 o'clock to 1 a.m. in the morning, you get our amazing wings, 5 for $5 and $5 wells and wines. That's a good Wednesday night. So if you're tired of the preppy, overpriced, generic sports bars, come see the amazing, friendly bartenders and staff at Riveters, where customer service really matters. Riveters, just south of where the Rays and Bucks play. We'll see you there. Going through a medical emergency without health care insurance can cause you to go into crippling debt. In most scenarios, people are forced to either break into their retirement funds or worse, they're forced to file for bankruptcy. The sad truth is that health care insurance is crucial in today's day and age. Look, I get it. Many of you think you're never going to get sick and health insurance is really expensive. Well, we can help you out with that. Depending on your income, we can find great plans at huge discounts. God forbid you get cancer, a car accident. It could literally ruin you financially for life. So make the call and find out. Even though the open enrollment period is over, you may have some qualifying life events that can help you get covered right away. It can be very complicated, a very intimidating process, but we can help. Go to our website and check out all the 5-star reviews about our helpful agents. Go to don'tgouncovered.com or call 800-669-1505. That's 800-669-1505. Spring means a time of renewal and Rays baseball, and the folks at Italiano Insurance want to welcome the Rays to Tampa and remind you it's time to renew those insurance policies with the now famous Italiano Insurance Checkup. Let the experienced and friendly agents shop your policy for the best price and coverage. Famous for saving me over $1,000 on our auto insurance last year and over $500 on our homeowners. Now that's a grand slam. Might as well get a double play by adding flood insurance and business insurance to your portfolio. Costs less than you think, and trust me, you do not want to risk your home or personal wealth. That's a big whiff. So step up to the plate and call 813-877-7799 and chat with the all-star agents at Italiano Insurance. 813-877-7799 or go to ItalianoInsurance.com. Go Rays! JP here for my friend Jason Fawcett, owner of On-Site Construction. They do residential and commercial renovations and new construction. As a leading home builder and general contractor, On-Site Construction prides itself on transforming homes through superior craftsmanship, dedication to client vision, and an unmatched commitment to quality and service. It's about building relationships. We take the time to understand our clients' needs, preferences, and budgets so that we can deliver a personalized experience tailored to their unique vision. From the initial designs to the final touches, we're there every step of the way, ensuring that the end result mirrors your vision. Here are some testimonials from happy customers. G. Gibson says, no hidden costs, very honest, reliable, creative, and communicates well. Reasonable and fair with their pricing, no hidden costs. C. Smith said, did not disappoint. I'm very happy with the work. This company really cares and will take care of it. So if you're just thinking about building or renovating, give us a call and let's see what's possible. 813-579-5789 or check out our website at onsiteconstructionfl.com.
Let's go. Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, we got a great surprise for you. Dun, dun, dun. Just making it happen right now, hopefully. The great Randy Harris, local MMA expert and Tampa Bay sports legend, is at the fight in Vegas and will join us momentarily. Hopefully he'll pop up here on our little StreamYard thing, and then we'll bring him in. So just text him with him right now. So we'll give you a little bit of expert analysis, because I am no expert when it comes to UFC. I ain't gonna lie to you folks. I'm not gonna act like I'm a casual observer. I pop in every now and then for the big fights. This is a big one tonight, and the co-main edition at out in Vegas tonight, T-Mobile Arena, UFC 317. I don't think Trump's gonna be there tonight, though. He usually goes a lot of these, but he's been a little busy. Been a little busy this week. He's got the big beautiful bill to get through, and if anybody pops off in Israel or Iran, he's got that to deal with. So far, so good with those knuckleheads, though. But they don't know what the fuck they're doing.
That is the craziest thing. A president has never in my lifetime ever heard something like that.
He's one of a kind.
I don't think, to be honest, I don't think the president has the gullet to do that. I don't think anyone else, even
if you didn't know before that this guy's not a regular politician, you know now. For whatever your thoughts on Trump are, the dude gets stuff done, and nobody else does shit in Washington. You say what you will, but he gets stuff done, and
he'll just say whatever he wants.
I think I've been on this planet for 60 years, and I've been very in tune to what's going on in the Middle East, and it's absolutely insanity. And I think I've heard a lot of people talk about it, but I've never heard anybody be more succinct about it and inaccurate. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. They just fight. They don't know what they're doing. They just fight. We're going to destroy Israel. Israel's like, yeah, we're going to defend ourselves, and that's just the way it's always going to be.
They've been going at this since longer than I've been alive.
Yeah,
and it's chaos
for about 2,000 years, I think. All right, so UFC 317 tonight. The main event: Ilia El Matador Topuria, 16-0 against Charles the Bronx Oliveira, 35-10 for the vacant lightweight championship. Topuria's absolutely dominated his class, so he's moving up in class to 155. Oliveira also fought in the featherweight division for several years, is now resting comfortably at lightweight where he belongs. That's a much more natural weight for him. So obviously a lot of the talk is, can Topuria handle the pounding at this weight? And the experts, from what I've read, believe that he can. He's very good at withstanding the initial flurry and then taking his opponent to the ground and doing what he's got to do. Oliveira, though, very good on the ground as well. So I think it'll be very interesting to see if Topuria can withstand that flurry. I think that'll be a big part of it. And if he can, then the advantage kind of shifts to him as the longer this fight goes. So that'll be an interesting kind of contrast in styles. And I think that's obviously that's what makes the fight. Oh, we got the Paul versus Chavez fight right there. Then you see the in the comments if you want to see the link to it. But yeah, so if you want to watch it now, it's obviously you could do the pay-per-view, but why would you pay? Why would you pay for it when you can go down to Riveters and see both why would you pay for one or both when you could just go down to Riveters? By the way, I don't tell you where it is. It's just north of 275, about a mile south of the Stein and Raymond James Stadium, right there on Dale Mabry. There's a spaceship right next door. So if you're familiar with the landmark spaceship, yeah, right next door to the spaceship. So if you want to, have a night out on the town, tell the wife you're going to watch the fight, and there's a little back door. Not that I've ever used it, but they're connected. So there you go. If you want to head on over there, you can do that. So that's the fight at that'll probably go down about midnight. And then of course you got the Jake Paul Chavez fight, which is that's going to be interesting as well. For Jake Paul, he's coming off his unanimous decision over Mike Tyson who I'm just going to say, I don't think he was really going full out.
No chance.
I think he probably ducked a few punches maybe that he could have. I don't know.
The amount of money Jake Paul slid to him was like, hey, don't go full out. Just I need the name Mike Tyson on my resume.
You know, everybody's making money. Everybody's making money. I don't blame
Tyson. That amount of money that he definitely got because that was on Netflix. The amount of money Netflix definitely paid both of them to have that fight. Because if Tyson really actually tried, because I don't know if he was fully trying or not in that fight.
I don't.
Or he was just either because I think he's 60 or at least something like that.
57, I think.
This is nowhere near prime Tyson. If Paul would never.
Have you ever seen Prime Tyson?
No, but I've seen.
You ever watch? Go back and watch.
I need to because
get your little YouTube out and go watch that dude knock people out.
He would have killed him if it was Prime Tyson versus this
God.
Paul. Paul would be dead. Yeah. We'd be having a funeral for him tomorrow.
I think even 57-year-old Tyson would have beat the shit out of him. But I like Jake Paul. Jake Paul, when he came and fought here at Amalie Arena, we did the pre-presser. He was very nice to me. He was very nice to the press. He did every interview that was asked of him. He stayed for hours and hours and hours and did everything. I like the dude. He's a cool dude. I like what he brought. I like the vibe he brings. It's fun. You know, it's fun. He just it's brought a whole different fan base to boxing, which drastically needed. Yeah. You know, you just look at it like he's the biggest name in boxing. Mm-hmm. He's not even a real boxer.
Yeah.
I mean, I shouldn't say that.
He's a real boxer, but most of his fights have been against out of prime old dudes.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I'm gonna say this. Jake Paul's probably one of the greatest, nicest guys probably you could be. And
a great self promoter.
He knows how to get people to watch because he knows how to make money because he knows this. He makes people upset. He pisses people off, and people come. They watch the fight. They want to see him get knocked out.
Yeah.
And he's not one who's ever been knocked out. Partially probably because he fights all these old dudes, but that's neither here nor there.
Case in point, tonight's opponent, Cesar Chavez Jr., 39 years old, record of 54-6-1. He was the WBC World Middleweight Champion in 2011, before you were born, or shortly there.
5 years old.
He's had a 2.5-year layoff. And, of course, Jake Paul talking shit about the whole thing. You know, it's like, Mexico doesn't even claim you anymore. Like, dude, that's cold. But, yeah, they do have a common opponent, Anderson Silva, which I believe both of them beat Silva. So that's it for whatever that's worth. But, listen, let's just be honest. Until Jake Paul fights somebody in the prime, which I think he's working up to it. And I'm looking forward to seeing it. But this isn't that. But I would say this is probably the best fighter, the best pure boxer that he's ever faced. Is that fair?
Absolutely, probably.
Yeah.
At this time, because I feel like most of these guys that he's fought, probably I think at least have been 40.
Yeah.
This guy's at least in his 30s. I think this is absolutely hit the best boxer he's fought. I don't think I'll count Mike Tyson this. I think also was definitely ducking his punches at that point.
So I think it'd be a very entertaining fight. I really do. I'm interested to watch this fight. It's going to be, as we said, the best boxer and I think Jake Paul is a very good. He's a good technical fighter. I think when I first saw him fight, I was like, wow. Like that, he's way better than I thought he was going to be. And he's really worked at his craft. He's a tremendous promoter. He works his ass off. So I think it's going to be fun. I think it's a fun fight tonight. They got some good undercards on that. So you go over to Riveters, you'll get the undercards for both fights. They'll have the Chavez Jake Paul fight in one room with the sound up, and then the UFC 317 in the other room with the sound up. So you can bot back and forth. And don't forget to do your wagering as well, folks. There's if you haven't wagering on these fights is really good. I'm not going to sit here and give you any picks, but I would say go to your local internet where you get picks and read up on it and Throw a few ducats down. It's fun to watch when you're betting on these fighters. It takes out a whole new deal. And if I were you, I will give you this tip. Bet on Jake Paul. Follow the money. Follow the money, kids, and bet on Jake Paul.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I don't know who's spamming our comments with the Paul versus Chavez fight, but that's great.
Name's Paul versus Chavez, and he's literally just putting some site in.
Well, that's good. I mean, I
don't
spam
trust it.
away.
I don't
Spam
trust that
away.
site any second.
But we did get some other comments in here. Scott Rasnick said, "Did Mangum get an offer for a multi-year deal?" I have not seen that. You researched that? Is that anywhere
I
out
think
there?
that was probably him just saying that Magnum should have got one.
Oh, you want him to
I
get
feel like
one?
I think the Rays should, just because but I don't think they will. Purely just
How many? What's his contract say? How many years
I think
control do we have?
Technically, we probably have him. Let me look it up.
Yeah, look up his contract. He's what, 29 years old, right?
Starting to use the boys like
He's probably 3 or 4 year arbitration.
I don't think he even has any time in full service time in the majors. I think this was his first year.
Oh, really? Oh, that's right. He just got called up.
He's still in pre-arbitration.
So he's pre-arb.
We have him for the next 6 years.
Why the hell would we give him?
They'd be in no rush to extend him because they also, for the Rays, they're gonna have several questions outfield because like you got Johnny DeLuca, who honestly I have no clue what the hell's happening with him, who is on the 60-day IL still. Who I think from what I've heard from other people that he had some setback back when he was already planning to come back about roughly around mid-June to start rehab, or maybe at least get closer to starting rehab. He suffered some injury or something that pushed him back, and I think from what I've heard that pushback has ended, and he's starting to get back into baseball activities, and so he'll be back. You got Richie Palacios. From what I've heard, he's doing good in his rehab assignment. He could be back soon. You got Ha-Sung Kim. He's I think from what I have no clue exactly how much he's played right now in Durham, but I think that we could see Ha-Sung Kim back here by the end of the week. We could see Kim back, and I think likelihood if he comes back, I think likely the two odd men out would either be Curtis Mead or Taylor Walls. Honestly, at this point, I think you got to keep Walls. It's something that me and all Rays fans probably like did not think that we'd ever say.
Mm-hmm.
He's now he's batting .214, which not great, but like, hey, for him, that's amazing. The defense he offers, you want him on this team at this point.
Yeah, he's too versatile to not, and he's been really good offensively. And I think that means something because as the lineup gets thicker, it's easier for him he'll get more pitches because they don't want to pitch. They're pitching around other players. They're going to try to get him out. He'll get better pitches, and he's just been better. He's been more confident. And we saw the other day as a defensive replacement when he came in and it was a 4-1 game. And, Fairbanks.
The Royals, I think
it
was.
Yeah, Fairbanks had just 2 on. I think the tying run was at the plate. And there was a ball smoked up the middle. He dives, turns a ridiculous double play. I mean, if that ball gets through, it's a totally different game.
Absolutely.
It's a totally different game. And those are moments where, guys, this WAR thing is a real deal. And it factors in your runs saved. And where's Taylor Walls in terms of his defensive WAR? I mean, I think he's one of the best in the league. And his runs, and check out his runs saved too. If you would.
Taylor Walls in the advanced metrics currently. Let me pull something else up. He has. I'm trying to find it.
That's right. Yeah. Doug Batista is joining us. Hey, Doug, what's up, buddy? Says Palacios DeLuca would rather see Simpson and Mangum. Hell yeah. Hell yes.
Probably.
Yeah. I mean, look at what Simpson's done just since he came back, and he's really playing well in the outfield. He made a couple of great catches the other day. He's not as smooth as some of the other guys, but he'll get there. And I love the fact that Cash said the other day, listen, he's going to play center field. He's going to be our center fielder. And I said that when he first came up. I'm like, listen, Stick this guy in center field. Don't send him down, but they sent him down. Let him learn at the major league level because, we were talking to Orestes Estrada the other day, and I mentioned this. I said, how are you going to learn the sight angles of these major league parks, the lights? It's all different in the major leagues. If you're playing center field at Durham, if you're going to learn how to play the outfield, especially center fields and different configurations in the American League and around the league, you got to learn at the major league level. He's old enough. He's 24 years old. He's the fastest guy in baseball. Stole another base today, wreaking havoc on the base pass. Even though I think the official scorer changed the scoring to be an error on the pitcher, but he was going to steal it anyway. Anyway, the dude he's an absolute leadoff machine to me, and his on base will get better. But he's a great contact guy. People think he's just fast. He's not just fast. He showed great contact ability in college and in the minor leagues. So he's going to get on base, and he'll work his eye. His eye will get better, and he'll get more. I don't like Yandy Diaz in the leadoff spot. And Josh Lowe's better than Diaz, but I don't like Yandy. I like him in the 2 or 3 hole because then he gets many more RBI opportunities. And he's hitting freaking 500 over the last week. So, you can't take advantage. He's got 12 home runs. You can't take advantage of his 12 home runs if he's sitting at the top of the order because
solo shots. That's all it's going to be.
And typically 7, 8, 9 for us has not been good. It's been great in June. It was like historic in June, but typically 7, 8, 9 is not going to be something that's a bunch of guys that are getting on base. So Yandy's constantly coming up with nobody on base. So put him in the 2 or 3 hole where he's driving guys in. And if Simpson's on base,
get him in because he's a guarantee. You get him on first, unless you have an elite catcher behind the plate. He's gonna steal second, and he could even get third. You're guaranteed. He's gonna turn a single to a single, to either a double or a triple, and you purely if you're gonna run a lineup, the Rays will likely do this. They want to run lefty righty. Yep. They'll go. You got to go with the Simpson, Diaz. And then
we'll get back to baseball here in a little bit, but my friend Randy Harris is joining us live from Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. What's up, Randy? How are you? Can you hear us?
Up? Yeah, I can. What's up, JP?
Awesome, dude. Thanks for jumping on, man. What's the vibe like?
It's a typical Vegas crowd, which is ridiculous to me. There's like 10 people in the stands right now. It's a late arriving, and I was fortunate enough to have Terrence McKinney on this week, and I told people it's stupid to miss this fight, and he just won in like a minute and a half in the first round. So people missed a great fight.
That guy, tell us a little bit about him. That's he's spectacular.
Well, the thing about Terrence McKinney, and I don't know exactly how many fights he's had, somewhere between 14 and 16. He's never gone to a decision, and he's only gone to the third round one time. So, it's an exciting fight, win or lose, and that one was definitely an exciting fight if you're a Terrence McKinney guy.
Yeah.
55 seconds.
55 seconds?
In the left of the first round.
Give us the play-by-play.
Terrence McKinney walks in the octagon. Holy crap, the fight's over.
Succinct analysis from Randy Harris, Knockout Radio. Awesome stuff. All right, so give us a little preview for the rest of the night. There's a lot. It's a good card tonight. The whole card's good, right?
It's a fantastic card, and obviously the top 2, the main event, the co-main event, 2 titles on the line. Ilya Topuria steps up in weight. Charles Oliveira, you know me, I hate the word legend. Charles Oliveira is a legend. If Topuria isn't, and he wins another title in another division, he becomes a legend tonight, and arguably could be a pound for pound, in the top 2 or 3 or whatever. That's definitely a fantastic fight. The co-main, another fight for a title. Pantoja, most people expect him to win. Kayakara France, unbelievable fighter. I think he's ranked fourth. It's going to be a great fight. Most experts believe that the champ is going to keep his belt. They're the top 2 fights, but typically, like I said, in Vegas, people won't come in until roughly, say it goes 10, so probably around 11:30 our time is when the crowd will be full here in Vegas.
Well, they're going to have a full house at Riveters tonight. They're showing both fights over there at Riveters. They got the Jake Paul fight on as well. They paid for that one, so people can go over there and watch both fights. What do you think about the Jake Paul, Cesar Chavez Jr.? Or do you even speak of Jake Paul?
Oh, I speak highly of him. You know, I don't know why so many people are against Jake Paul and what he's done, and Logan, to
Yeah.
be honest.
Yeah.
You know, these are honestly, they're both great athletes. You know that what Logan's doing in the WWE is unbelievable, and it's not Jake's fault that he picks easy fights. And fans are. Let me think how I want to word this. Silly enough to continue to spend money, but he's doing what I call the Ric Flair.
Yeah.
You know, people pay money to what? Watch Jake Paul lose.
Yeah.
And if he continues this thing and people are going to continue paying the money they're paying, and Jake's going to continue making the money, he's going to keep handpicking fighters. What do you think?
So-
What's your thoughts?
I love Jake Paul. Ever since I met him when he came here, I think he's a tremendous promoter. I think he's entertaining. And after all, boxing has been dead for how long? And he's brought life to the sport of boxing. And you could say what you want about him. I think he's a pretty good fighter. I think he's working up to something that I think eventually he's going to get in the ring, and maybe, I don't know how to put this, but have a more credible fighter in the ring, and that's okay. Like, you can fighters, you don't jump into a championship bout, right? He's got to learn how to fight at this level, and I think this fight tonight, I think everybody will consider Chavez Jr., who was the 2011 WBC middleweight champion. He's legit. I mean, he may be a little past his prime. We'll say that, but he's the most legit fighter he's fought. Is that fair?
No, absolutely. And obviously the hate's coming because of where, he started.
Right.
The reality, the young kid, all this kind of stuff. And, if it was a normal person, if it was you or me started, this is how we'd start, right? We're not
Right.
going to jump right in against a 22-year-old Mike Tyson.
Right.
We're going to work, work our way up. So, I mean, that's the right way. I neglected to talk about a couple other fights. The Brendan Royval fight against Van. I mean, that's a fight that people definitely don't want to miss. The title implications for that. So, I mean, I typically jump into the main comment. Didn't mean to go off of Jake Paul. But like you said, the main card is absolutely unbelievable. Hermanson, the main event, what I call the prelim. I mean, this is a great, great card. If you can't be here, watching it at Riveters is definitely the place to be.
Hey, so I've never been to a big fight in Vegas, and I've never been to the UFC fights there. What's that whole vibe like? Was it worth, like, I mean, doing the whole thing, go out to Vegas, spend the weekend, it ain't cheap. I know that.
Well, first, if you're an MMA fan, absolutely. If you're a UFC fan, absolutely. But the people that are against it, I remember telling Bert Sugar, we had a disagreement in Detroit. Early UFC, when people didn't like it and it was human cockfighting and all that.
Yeah.
And my response is, until you go watch it and until you go live and watch it, you can't hate it. Go give it a shot. And it's unbelievable. You need to, well, they were just in Tampa not too long ago.
Right.
They go to Miami every year. So all of us fellow Floridians need to go to a UFC live and enjoy it and do it for the first time, and then tell me if you do or don't like it.
Yeah. In Vegas, though.
But
Vegas is different, right? I mean, it's different in Vegas, right?
No, honestly, it's not. Like, you can go to Miami and it's the same vibe. Honestly, the Miami vibe might even be better.
Really?
Than Vegas, because it's still the top card. It's still top fighters. Vegas is still Vegas. Like I said, the late arrivals, and you're at the nightclubs already, and then you get over here. It's a different. But if you want to experience something that's off the chain, JP, is you go to a UFC when Donald Trump walks in.
Yeah. What's that like?
It's absolutely insanity. Donald Trump's people are UFC fighters or MMA.
Right,
When
right.
you watch these guys after a win and they jump over the cage just because they have the opportunity to shake hands with either Donald Trump or a president, it's different for some people. But I've never experienced anything bigger, louder than when Donald Trump and Dana walk in. It's insane. It's absolutely insane.
Well, I'll never forget what Dana White did, not only for UFC, but for sports during COVID. He was the first one that had the balls to say, you know what, we're not stopping. We know what's going on here. We're going to do it. And I think if UFC didn't do it, it would have taken a long time for anybody to do it. He had the balls to go out there and do it, I think, and with the urging of Donald Trump. And I think he should get historically huge credit for bringing us back in that way. Would you agree?
Well, I agree 100%. And I don't know how much you know of the backstory of Donald Trump and Dana and what Donald Trump did in the early UFC days, when so many states banned it and wanted no part of it. And Donald Trump opened up, the casinos in Atlantic City. I remember attending those. It was very early UFC. And without what Donald Trump did, who knows if the UFC would be here. And that's why they have the relationship, that they do. But so many people are down on Dana, not having any clue who he really is and what he really, they always bring up the money. Jake Paul always brings up the money. And I may get in trouble for saying this, and the PR people are walking around listening to what I'm saying. Dana does things in the back to money-wise that people have no clue about. I've seen him hand checks to fighters, and it's like, no, this isn't your paycheck. This is just, hey, you did a good job today.
Thank you. Huh?
So, yeah. And
that builds loyalty. That builds a lot of loyalty. Yeah.
Absolutely. And not to say anything about myself, but every time Dana sees me, he always goes out of his way to come and say thank you to me as being the longest. I've covered the UFC longer than anyone in the world.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
I started at UFC 1, and it just means I'm old and I've out-survived, the most. But he's loyal to those people, and, it's pretty cool.
You were at UFC 1, and we're at 317 tonight?
I wasn't at UFC 1. I covered UFC.
You covered
1.
it? Okay.
The first one I attended was UFC 11 in Augusta, Georgia. And when I saw who I believe is the UFC heavyweight GOAT, which is Mark Coleman. And back in the day, Mark Coleman was scary.
You've seen it all, bro. You are the GOAT. You're the GOAT when it comes to UFC, MMA. You're the GOAT. And I think that's awesome that Dana recognizes that. That says a lot about his character, I mean,
absolutely. And, I don't know how much you talk MMA, and I appreciate you having me on, but I'm curious.
We need to do it more. We need to bring you on more. That's for damn sure.
I'd definitely be happy to. But give me your thoughts on John Jones, his recent retirement. And I'm curious, what you think.
And I've covered the sport just tangentially, but I can tell you one thing about John Jones. I love that motherfucker. Dude, that guy is to me, he's the GOAT. And I have never seen him get in the octagon where it wasn't one of the most entertaining things I've ever seen. He is a bad mofo. And I think he's great for the sport. And I know there's controversy that follows him, but I don't give a rat's ass. He's the man. He's the man.
Well, and that's my stance as well. I was starting to walk out, so maybe, camera-wise, if I stand right, you'll be able to see the octagon. I'll go do that in a second. But, I've been a long supporter of what you do in the sport that you're doing, and you may even understand references that I'm making about another athlete that is similar, had some troubles or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't care about that. If it's not against the law, then what do we care? All I care about is what they're doing in the octagon, what they're doing on the football field.
Agreed.
And, John has done some stupid stuff, and he'll admit it, but there absolutely has not been, in my opinion, a better mixed martial artist in the UFC than John Jones.
Yeah, I would agree wholeheartedly. Will he ever fight again?
You never say never.
Right.
If hit by him, again, I'm not a lawyer. I just play one on Knockout Radio. By him retiring, I don't think that gets him out of his contract. And unless Dana, releases him from the contract, then he's not going to be able to fight until the contract ends. And typically it ends after X amount of fights. There's already talk, and I thought I saw something earlier that he just retired from the UFC, not from fighting. So I don't know. And there's still that big controversy, and I can ramble on forever. Did he duck Tom Aspinall? I say no. Does it change his legacy that he didn't fight Tom Aspinall? Again, I say no. And what's funny is, and fans just as well as I do, they're so fickle. And they're so down on John Jones because he didn't fight Tom Aspinall. But it was just recently released. GSP made a very similar statement that it wasn't worth fighting. I think it was Nick Diaz. He had nothing to gain, and everything to lose and blah, blah, blah. Well, it's the same thing with John Jones. He had nothing to gain fighting Tom Aspinall. Nothing.
But fans still want it. They still want it, but he's right. He had nothing to gain. So I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that.
I am too. Let him move on. Let him do whatever's next in his life. And, As of right now, the GOAT of the UFC. He's on Mount Rushmore, the whole 9 yards.
All right, Randy.
I'm walking close to outside, just so maybe if I turn the camera, you might be able to see it if you want me to. So hold on
Is
one
that
second.
yeah? I'd love you to. I don't want you to get in trouble though. There.
I got it
Oh,
turned.
there we go. All right. Oh, it's a vibe. It's a vibe. How many people will be in there tonight? What do they put in there? 25,000?
I'm coming out so I can hear you. It was too loud. Say that again.
How many people will they put in there tonight?
Well, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. But Dana says the same thing after every press conference. It's sold out, the gate, all that kind of stuff. I mean, it's definitely sold out. And the cheapest ticket, I believe, was about $550 at the ticket window.
Just to get in the door.
In the door, 300 level, just below where we sit at the
Jesus.
top of the building. Yeah, it's.
What does ringside go for? What does ringside tickets go for?
On a fight like this, like back in the day, it was $1,000. I'm going to say probably, I could be wrong, but a couple thousand, for this fight.
Couple grand, yeah.
With the, the double championship belts on the line. And, but if you're a UFC guy, if you got the money, this is definitely a place to be at a UFC.
Seeing any celebs yet? They won't be there until then. Who's coming tonight? Do we know?
Well,
Trump's not coming tonight.
Well, supposedly Trump is coming.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, no, I mean, that's what
Holy
we were told.
Shit.
We were told that, but to be honest, we know by security if he's coming or not, meaning they check bags differently,
and, right?
Yeah, they checked them more than normal, but not like when I was in New Jersey.
Not a Trump night.
Ago.
Okay.
Yeah. So
he's been a little busy this week. I wouldn't think he'd be there, but that dude never sleeps.
Well, he really doesn't, and he is such a huge UFC fan, so who knows? But I know you're getting ready to end. I appreciate you putting me on. Anytime you want to talk.
Yeah,
MMA,
promote your show, brother. Promote your show.
Promote your Radio. Show. I appreciate it. Knockout Radio, the longest running MMA show, UFC show in the country, the longest running sports show in Tampa Bay. Airs Wednesday, noon to 3 on knockoutradio.com. We do it on the YouTube channel, Facebook, 107.1 and 1340 AM over at the Tan Talk Radio Network.
Awesome. Well, thank you for jumping on tonight, man. I really, really appreciate it. I should have had you on earlier this week, but we're doing that whole raise sale thing. We've been a little busy. But let's get you on this week just to wrap up what happened and look ahead. All right?
I'd love to, and I'll see you out there at $1 here very shortly.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Randy. Appreciate it.
All right. Take care,
That's
JP.
broadcasting legend right there. Tampa's broadcasting legend, Randy Harris. Awesome stuff right there. We went right, took you right to Vegas, baby. We took you right to Vegas. That's what we do here. That was what we do. I reached out to him late in the game, and he was happy or good enough to do that. So I'm really happy that he was able to join us. So thank you to Randy Harris.
I looked it up right up now as SeatGeek. If you want floor seats, the cheapest ticket on the floor is roughly at least $2,000.
Just a floor ticket, not even ringside.
For floor tickets, the closest you can get right now is about 4 rows back, and that's $3,000 at least.
Damn.
And that's the closest you can. I guarantee you there's no ringside tickets left available. But for Rise of Now, you can only if you want to get close, you're shoveling out $3,000.
Woo.
For tickets now. But I'm looking up at the top. It's at least right now at the top, the cheapest you can get is $550. If you want to get close, lower down at the bottom of the it's not even 300 level, it's 200 level. You're forking out $600. Crazy prices.
That's a lot. Hey, all right, let's take our final break here. When we come back, I'm going to update you on Lightning draft today. Lightning drafted a couple very interesting players, and they did not trade Isaac Howard today. And there's some interesting reasons to that as well. So quick break. We'll come back on the other side, wrap things up. Don't forget, we're brought to you by Riveters. They're showing both fights tonight, the Jake Paul and Cesar Chavez Jr. fight. They paid for that one, so it's free for you guys. Free. You get no cover. Most places will charge you cover for the fight, not at Riveters. So you can watch the Jake Paul, Cesar Chavez Jr. fight, and that's probably going to be a little bit before the two co-main events of UFC 317, where we just took you live to Vegas with Randy Harris. That'll probably start around midnight, so you can get them both in. And then you get there, like, go now, and then have the prime rib dinner. They only serve it on Friday and Saturday night, and is absolutely fabulous. It's a great deal, and you get the great service there at Riveters. The prime rib is fan-freaking-tastic. So get your prime rib. I got you Saturday all planned. Get your prime rib, okay? Then you sit down and watch the Jake Paul fight, and then you can get the 317 UFC as well. All there, all free, no cover. The prime rib's not free, but you can watch the fights for free. And it's a great deal. I'm not sure where they price it at, but it's way cheaper than any place else you can get it, and it's way better. Fan-freaking-tastic. And just have the buffalo chicken dip as an appetizer. You will absolutely love. They have great mussels there too. They do great garlic mussels, fantastic. They have their shrimp. They have the what do they call it? The wood fire shrimp. Great. The wings, fantastic. So head on out to Riveters and enjoy both fights tonight on them. That's no cover charge at Riveters. They are on Dale Mabry, just north of 275, right there next to the spaceship, just south of Ray J. So back in 3 minutes, we'll wrap it all up. JP here for Riveters, the official sports bar and grill of the JP Peterson Show. We're located just south of Ray J and Steinbrenner Field, so it's a great pre- and post-game spot, and the happy hour is amazing. Monday through Friday, 3 to 7. Check out these specials. $3 Bud Light drafts, $4 domestic bottles, $5 wells, $6 premium wells, $6 cocktails like margaritas. It's unheard of. And the Riveters food is freshly made daily. No freezers. Happy hour food specials include $3.50 tacos and barbecue sliders. $6 you get edamame or chips with the beer cheese, which is amazing. $8 buffalo chicken dip, my favorite. The truffle fries, chili cheese fries, also $8 at happy hour, as well as other specials throughout the week, including Taco Tuesdays, you get $3 tacos, and Wing Wednesdays, 7 o'clock to 1 a.m. in the morning, you get our amazing wings, 5 for $5 and $5 wells and wines. That's a good Wednesday night. So if you're tired of the preppy, overpriced generic sports bars, come see the amazing, friendly bartenders and staff at Riveters, where customer service really matters. Riveters, just south of where the Rays and Bucks play. We'll see you there. Going through a medical emergency without health care insurance can cause you to go into crippling debt. In most scenarios, people are forced to either break into their retirement funds or worse, they're forced to file for bankruptcy. The sad truth is that health care insurance is crucial in today's day and age. Look, I get it. Many of you think you're never going to get sick and health insurance is really expensive. Well, we can help you out with that. Depending on your income, we can find great plans at huge discounts. God forbid you get cancer, a car accident. It could literally ruin you financially for life. So make the call and find out. Even though the open enrollment period is over, you may have some qualifying life events that can help you get covered right away. It can be very complicated, a very intimidating process, but we can help. Go to our website and check out all the 5-star reviews about our helpful agents. Go to don'tgouncovered.com or call 800-669-1505. That's 800-669-1505. Spring means a time of renewal and Rays baseball, and the folks at Italiano Insurance want to welcome the Rays to Tampa and remind you it's time to renew those insurance policies with the now famous Italiano Insurance Checkup. Let the experienced and friendly agents shop your policy for the best price and coverage. Famous for saving me over $1,000 on our auto insurance last year and over $500 on our homeowners. Now that's a grand slam. Might as well get a double play by adding flood insurance and business insurance to your portfolio. Costs less than you think, and trust me, you do not want to risk your home or personal wealth. That's a big whiff. So step up to the plate and call 813-877-7799 and chat with the all-star agents at Italiano Insurance. 813-877-7799 or go to ItalianoInsurance.com. Go Rays! JP here for my friend Jason Fawcett, owner of On-Site Construction. They do residential and commercial renovations and new construction. As a leading home builder and general contractor, On-Site Construction prides itself on transforming homes through superior craftsmanship, dedication to client vision, and an unmatched commitment to quality and service. It's about building relationships. We take the time to understand our clients' needs, preferences, and budgets so that we can deliver a personalized experience tailored to their unique vision. From the initial designs to the final touches, We're there every step of the way, ensuring that the end result mirrors your vision. Here are some testimonials from happy customers. G. Gibson says, no hidden costs, very honest, reliable, creative, and communicates well. Reasonable and fair with their pricing, no hidden costs. C. Smith said, did not disappoint. I'm very happy with the work. This company really cares and will take care of it. So if you're just thinking about building or renovating, give us a call and let's see what's possible. 813-579-5789 or check out our website at onsiteconstructionfl.com.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStreams.
All right, welcome back to our special edition of the J.P. Peterson Show here on this Saturday night. We covered a lot of baseball, and of course, we are promoting the big UFC fight tonight, 317. You can watch it over at Riveters, the official sports bar and grill of the J.P. Peterson Show. And no cover tonight. Get that prime rib dinner that they got. Absolutely succulent prime rib. Fantastic. You can watch a Jake Paul fight against Cesar Chavez Jr. That'll be going around 10, 10:30, 11. And then the co-main events, the UFC will be kicking off around midnight. So be a great time to head on over to Riveters, just north of 275 on Dale Mabry there, just south of the spaceship right there. You know where to find it, at Riveters. Great food, great staff. Tell them JP sent you, by the way. We were supposed to be over there live tonight, but we had a little double book with the Rays watch party today. The game went long, so we just said, we'll come over to the to the studio and we'll do the show. And we got Randy Harris on live from Vegas. Thanks for joining us, Randy. That was awesome. And we also went over there and handed out T-shirts. A lot of you folks were over there waiting for me to do my show, and I thank you guys for jumping in there. So we got handed out a bunch of free T-shirts for you folks. I saw RJ over there, Rick, a couple other guys that followed the show. We really appreciate it. It's good seeing you. Gave him a little personal primer on the Rays sales situation. So that was good to hook up with you guys. So appreciate you coming out. Sorry we couldn't do the show there tonight, but we may do a live remote there on Wednesday before the Rays day game. So that'll be fun. We can do that. And then we'll all go over and sizzle it. Steinbrenner. Bacon in the sun.
I'll probably get more sunburn there than than I will working at Adventure Island.
So, yeah, right. Absolutely. Intern Danny, making his debut, by the way. How about that? Thanks for joining us, buddy. All right. So the Lightning made some draft picks today. We'll get to those in a second. The biggest news is they did not trade Hobie Baker Award winner Isaac Howard, their 2022 first round pick, as they had hoped to. Julien Brisebois, GM, speaking after the draft, told the Ed Encina of the Times, we don't have anything right now. It's tricky because the teams that are willing to offer me something that I would think would be worthwhile for our organization and actually makes us better and fits with the plan we have for our organization, they haven't been able to agree to a contract with Isaac. And the teams that he feels he can get a deal done with have not been able to get a deal done with him, with Brisebois. So thus the stalemate, as Edward writes. Brisebois continues, I don't know how long this is going to take. We're perfectly comfortable waiting until the end. We know, worst case scenario, we're getting a second round pick out of this. If I can do better, that would be optimal for me. It would be way better for Isaac Howard because he should turn pro. That's in his best interest for his career development. We are working with them to try to get that done, but as of now, we haven't been able to do so. So, stalemate. I still think, we've had Eric Erlinson on the show many times, and he feels the way most of us do, that he doesn't want it, that he's not going to go back to Michigan State. And nothing happens until a deadline, right? Training camp coming up. Teams will want to add him because I think he's NHL ready or not far away. I mean, he led the Division I, Michigan State, led Division I in points per game. Hobie Baker Award winner. He's a really, really good player. Now, does his flamboyant style fit in with the Lightning? I'm going to say no. And I think maybe that's one of the reasons he's not a member of the Lightning. He's, as you said, Danny, there seems to be a lot of adults around him that may not be serving him
It
well.
has to be. Like, I get, as I'm only 19 right now, and I'm like, I know how entitled young people are with the NIL, all this stuff. They want their way, and it's perfectly fine to say I want my way.
Sure,
but it's like
that's not the culture of hockey.
There's no way on earth that this is him by himself. I guarantee you he was raised right, because with the numbers he put up in college, he for sure was raised as a hard worker. Guarantee it. There's no doubt in my mind. His parents raised him to be a hard worker. But there's definitely something around probably the people he met in college. I don't know if his parents, but I feel like at this point they'd probably just say sign with the Lightning and get your ass to Tampa and get to work. But I don't know because like at this point, in my opinion, it's like
he's getting bad advice.
He's getting bad advice from someone.
Well, and I would say this, I saw something similar go on with Jonathan Drouin, who was a can't miss prospect the Lightning drafted in the first round. And he came to Tampa, didn't want to go to the AHL like, Kucherov did, like most of our other players do. And he had an entitled attitude, and his dad, his parents were an issue. It seems like a very, very similar situation. Very talented player. People want him, but that's not the culture of hockey. It's just not. And other players see this. And I'm sure the Lightning players are very aware of it. And when he was here for, development camp, he had a certain vibe to him that I don't think really fit in very well. So I don't think he's getting good advice. I think this is a bad way to play it. Get your ass in a camp somewhere, work out a deal with the team. This should be something that listen, Brisebois is not going to give him away. He's not going to give him away. And he can get something significant back for him, I would think. If the kid finally realizes where he's at, he may want to play chicken with the Lightning and take it all the way up to the beginning of training camp, whatever. Maybe that's what his agent thinks is best. But if I were him, I'd get my ass in there. And I would open up my mind a little bit, because the team you sign with, not necessarily, and he has said publicly that he wants to choose the team that he signed with, become a free agent in August of 26, and he would be able to pick his team, and the Lightning would get a second round compensatory pick. The Lightning wanted to get something better than that. And you heard Brisebois say that. So it sucks, because I was hoping that they could get a deal done. It would maybe be part of a bigger deal that Brisebois could pull off to really help this team this year, because I think he's going to do something big.
And because I don't follow prospect in hockey as much, but it's like, even if what you're saying about this guy, he's got an attitude, I feel like that would be stamped out very quickly with the guys around him. I feel like Point, Hedman, and Cooch, and even other guys, Yanni Gore, Vasilevsky, all of them would, because they would see that this guy's got potential. He'd be the future of this team for sure if he was here. And they would see, hey, this guy's got the talent to be the face of the franchise. Maybe, I don't know.
Takes more than that, though.
But it's like, it would be like, hey, you come to Tampa, you put in the work. They'll probably be like, hey, you're here, you'll be great. But you have to, on part of that, you have to be attitude wise, be like,
you got to fit in, man.
The attitude has to be great as well, because this whole team has always been the definition of selfless.
That's right.
They've not been like, there has never been one player.
Not a me first team.
Because that's the problem. Like, I know for a fact that those guys, Point, all of them that I mentioned before, they would be able to help him.
They went down to the AHL.
They
Cooch
would
started,
like, maybe even if he doesn't play in the AHL, I'm sure for a matter of fact that they would be able to get him in the right attitude. I feel like if he would just have to open his ears.
I would agree.
If he opens his ears, he'll be great. I for sure think he'd be a focal point of this team.
Let me look at some of the comments here. Michael LaRue says Isaac Howard is one entitled kid. The adults around him are giving him bad advice. I think you are correct. RJ Martin said, thank you, JP, for the shirts. It was awesome to finally meet you in person. It was awesome to meet you, RJ. And I believe that was your wife, I believe. Gave me a couple shirts. That's awesome. Mike Tyson couldn't KO Jake Paul multiple times, but Tyson pulled his punches. That's what I saw, Michael. I agree with you. Like, yeah, I think we all saw that. Thank you guys for chiming in, and by the way, and joining us here tonight. Good stuff. All All right, yeah, by the way, so the Lightning did make some draft picks today. This from Ed Encina, who was at the draft. Or no, I guess he was here in Tampa. Breeze Boss said we added 8 players to our organization that we believe in, that we think have potential, that have high-end work ethic, and then we strongly believe in our developmental program, which has been really successful in helping players realize their potential. That's true. They are absolutely, I think, the best team in the NHL in terms of their skating coaches, and their development has been second to none. Kucherov was a second-round pick. You know, that's all you need to know. 2-time Lindsay Award winner, future Hall of Famer. The Lightning used it to select 18-year-old Ethan Zada. I believe I'm saying that correctly. Czata, a defensive-minded center. This is from Ed Encina of the Times, who had 21 goals, 55 points in his second season with Niagara of the OHL. Zada added a goal and 4 assists in 7 games for Canada at the World Junior Tournament. He entered the draft ranked 49th among North American skaters by NHL Central Scouting. Lightning amateur scouting director John Rosso said he thought there was a slim chance to get Zada, and it didn't help when Vegas traded up to the pick ahead of them. The longer it went, he was still on the board. You try to talk yourself into, okay, we need to prepare like he's not going to be there, so we need to work on something else. And then as time goes on, there he is. Okay, it's the real thing. There was an emphasis on size in this year's draft. That's good to hear. He's not big. Zada 6'2", 179. But, at 18 years old, 6'2", 179 turns into 6'2", maybe 6'3", 220. I like. And Zada kind of molds his game after Sam Bennett, he says. Very defensive-minded, so that's good. I like the Dylan Larkin of the Red Wings. So, good. So I think it's I don't really know these other players. 4th round pick, Benjamin Ratanen, 20-year-old center, recently completed his first full season in Liga, the top professional league in Finland. Listed at 6 feet, 174 pounds, had 10 goals and 23 assists, third most in the league by an under 20 player. So they also drafted 18-year-old Aiden Foster from Prince George of the World Hockey League, 6'3", 182. So, yeah, there's some big boys. So that's the Lightning draft. All right. Once again, if you guys are out and about or looking for a place to watch the fights tonight or thinking about buying them, why would you do that? Why would you buy the fight when you can go to Riveters and see both fights, the Jake Paul, Senior Cesar Chavez, and UFC 317? Use that money to get yourself a prime rib dinner with your honey. I'm not telling you what to do, but that makes sense to me. Go out and get prime rib at Riveters or the Great Wings. Great vibe out there. It's a beautiful night for the outdoor and the indoor thing that they have going on there. So they'll have both fights. They'll have the sound up in one room for the Jake Paul, sound up in the other room for UFC 317, which is going to be great. 2 great fights. We had Randy Harris on earlier from Knockout Radio live from Vegas, T-Mobile Arena, who joined us and said the whole card's awesome. So get your butt over to Riveters right there on Northdale Mabry, just north of 275, just south of Ray J. Topuria versus Oliveira. It's going to be a great one at 155. And the flyweight Pantoja against Kim Curry France. So head on out to Riveters and have all the fun there and watch both fights. All right, intern Danny, nice job, my friend. Well done. Thank you guys for joining us as well. We will be back on Monday with the latest developments on the Rays sale. As I said on Friday, never been more optimistic that this is going to get done with this great group headed by Patrick Zalupski and the Tampa Bay elite businessmen that have been working on this for about 4 months since we first reported it. So I think it may be happening sooner than later, which will be good for all of us. And the Rays got a big win today, 11-3 over the Orioles. Now 11 games over 500, just a half game back of the Yankees. All right, thanks for joining us, everybody. Again, head on over to Riveters. You get both the fights, Bless you. It's both the fights and you get the prime rib all there for you. So have a good weekend, everybody. If you're going out to fireworks displays this weekend, that's pretty cool too. We will see you on